starting back a little bit. I'm starting the stream from, I would have to guess, about halfway through the main story of it. I had started a new character a few days before. I was gonna focus her mainly on using like fire weapons because the channel Fudge Puppet had like a pyromaniac build, and that's kind of what I was following. Oh, well, this is pleasant. But yeah, I was following that, but I haven't gone and picked up a flamer yet, so there's no actual fire weapon.
If you see a light drifting untethered,
Molotovs. For the most part, I haven't switched to fragmentation grenades because some of these enemies here are tough, and I just kind of wanted to see what would work better against them. Also, I only have one Molotov, so that works a lot. But so far, I really like Far Harbor. Far Harbor's good. Since my character is built along that thing, I have a lot of strength and a lot of melee weapon damage. So one weapon that they added was the fish hook, which was fantastic. I love that as a weapon. It's like similar to the baseball bat. I kind of wish it caused bleeding damage, but I can see where that would be overpowered because you can get to here pretty early in the game. It was about level 15 whenever I first rode over to Far Harbor, and this was the first weapon that I got. I could have gotten a harpoon gun, but you have to buy harpoons, and none of the enemies I've killed so far have actually carried harpoons. It's another one of those weapons, kind of like the broadsider, where you just don't actually find the ammo for it lying around. But I did see somewhere that there is another weapon that's been added to Far Harbor, and it's called the Striker. I can't remember exactly where it is, but that one uses bowling balls, and it does just as much damage as the broadsider. And you can find bowling balls actually a lot of places. Since I was playing through again, I've seen a dozen or more places that just have bowling balls lying around and like something set up as pins, but bowling balls you can find a lot more often, like just out in the open, so that's really cool. And also they've added some more weapons for the Children of Adam, the radium rifle, and there's another, I think it's the kratom rifle, and it causes explosion, which has an area of effect thing to it as well. Hold on, let me actually go ahead and set that to Laser musket. If I actually really want that, I'll go ahead and switch back to it. But the radium rifle, you know, it does a lot extra radiation damage, which means that they can't actually heal. Random enemies that you encounter can't heal from the damage that's caused by that, and it causes more of that, and it also causes damage as well. And the rate of fire isn't fantastic, but I believe you can make it an automatic, which will increase that greatly. Though my build isn't really focused on that, I appreciate the addition of the weapon. I think it's really cool. But the story's good so far. It's kind of strange that you would go so far out of your way to go look for a little girl and then just stick around after she says she doesn't want to go home. But the story does get a lot more in depth. I would recommend, kind of as people predicted, to bring Nick Valentine along as a partner.
The angler
for this.
has likely already
He's just
spotted
kind of who I kept through the whole thing. Old Longfellow, the partner that they added for this DLC, he's not bad, but like people have been saying, he doesn't add a lot of character to the game. He's not.
Have you finished your prayers
the wittiest
already?
person. Like Ada, I really liked Ada. Ada was one of my favorite people. In fact, I kept her as soon as I saw her because, I mean, you can customize her and everything else, but she just had a really nice personality, an actual robot personality, whereas every other robot that you come across doesn't really have a robot personality. Ada did, and so would any other automatron that you came across, but Ada also had more of a human side to her, so I appreciated that. But anyways, like I said, I'm a little more than halfway through. The last quest I finished was, what was it called? Visions in the Fog, which was, it's probably like my second favorite quest in the whole game. It was really weird because I wasn't expecting it to be like it was. It was really short too, but what happened like in the middle of it was not exactly what I was expecting. I kind of went the other way, but yeah, one of the main religious figures of the Children of Adam shows up, and you just kind of...
Sister, have you dealt with the heretic?
Tell me about Sister Gwyneth.
Certainly never expected something like this from her. Not that she wasn't without her peculiarities, but she always seemed dedicated. She and Confessor Martin, they would spend hours discussing the finer points of Adam's graces, abandoning the family. Something sick has clearly claimed her mind. She doesn't deserve to live like that.
I'm still working on it, Grand Zealot.
Then I will let you return to your duty.
And that's the other weird thing about this DLC. They did a lot of really cool stuff with the Children of Adam. I was never too particularly involved with the Children of Adam. I like how they disabled the radiation thing here, because this entire area, especially that submarine there, is highly irradiated on the surface because the steel has absorbed a lot of the gamma rays that were given off of the atomic bomb. It's just sitting in here too, which is kind of weird, and it was able to absorb that much, but whatever. The other thing that the Children of Adam do, I was kind of frustrated by this because I saw them whenever I walked into a place, but they don't actually have it. I'm gonna look for it real quick.
I quake before Adam's majesty.
But one of the places where they had candles. I don't know. Okay, yeah. Where they have candles, they have fusion cells, just like sitting underneath it.
Watch over my brothers
And
and
I was
sisters.
trying to grab those for a long time, and I couldn't understand why. I wasn't able to, but it's because the area belongs to the Children of Adam, and they love radiation, so of course they're love fusion cells. But you see them lying around abundantly, and it kind of makes you a little bit angry that you can't grab them. Just not super angry. But anyways, I like a lot of the things that they did with it. They didn't mark... Well, while there is a lot of points of interest that can get marked on your map quite immediately, that was one thing that I also liked. Really close to the start of Far Harbor, there is a magazine that you can pick up, and it marks points of interest of Far Harbor on your map. But there are also a lot of random areas on your map that you can encounter, and it kind of reminds me...
Watch yourself out there. Any danger?
The Witcher 3, and I didn't honestly get too far with The Witcher 3 yet, because I will probably end up finishing The Witcher 3 at some point. It may be a very long time from now, but they had a lot of areas that you could come across, and they had some sort of small significance to it. Some of them had a major significance, and they just wouldn't appear on your map until later, but some sort of small significance to it. But there are just random places on your map that won't ever be marked, even if you visit there. And while that was the same for Fallout 4, I guess the scale and the layout of Far Harbor kind of makes those more intimate, because there are points of interest that you could tell they're points of interest because there are actually people there, but then there are just empty places that you'll find, like a graveyard or a small campsite that's got a few houses in it. I thought that was weird because there was writing on the walls and there was glue and scissors and a bunch of magazines that were used to make like a ransom note, and you were able to walk a little bit farther to a place that was actually marked on the map, and we saw the message that they were actually cutting and pasting out of there. The only thing I will say, and this is probably just a problem with the console versions of it, I don't even know about the Xbox One version of it, but sometimes the frame rate drops because the entirety of the hardware is covered in a fog, just a foggy particle, which adds radiation. I don't know if there's any other specific effect to you, but as you can see, just leaving and walking outside, kind of like how it was in the Boston area. It kind of bogs down the frame rate just a little bit, and there was a part towards the beginning where you had to walk through a pretty dense fog with the canyon that's available for Far Harbor, and it bogged it down pretty severely for the PS4 version of it, and it bothered me, but it's not like it was any different than playing games on the PS3. I know there's limitations to the console. I know that some folks with the PC who downloaded the DLC for this game ended up coming across that as well. But overall, I really like the DLC so far. Whenever you're walking around this area, and they'll tell you that over and over again, you're going to come across just a lot of ambient radiation because there's fog like that rolling around, and it acts similar to the radiation storms that were happening in Colorado. But anyways, the current quest that I'm on, the Heretic, one of the main quests that I'm supposed to do, there's a synth, and one of his memory banks lies within that base that the children of Adam have taken up and built into a large sanctuary for their religion. And I kind of got off track with this earlier, but I was going to say that this DLC really did a good job of making me understand the children of Adam and how it's a religion, and that was due mostly to the fact of this Visions in the Fog quest. While it wasn't much, it kind of prescribed to me that they're not just absolutely insane. Maybe they are, but I could see why people would turn to this religion, not for any specific reason, but I feel very welcomed by the children of Adam, and I almost found myself working for them. And you know what, by the end of this DLC, I'll say that Nick Valentine doesn't particularly appreciate me working for the children of Adam, because the reason we're here is to rescue them and grow. We're here at Acadia, which is the other big settlement here. Yeah, Acadia. So, in this DLC, you have three factions. You have the children of Adam, who their main sanctuary is over here at the nucleus on this end of Far Harbor. And then you have sort of a rogue synth group, almost like the Railroad, except they're not really trying to fight anybody else. They're just trying to bring about peace. Very peace-loving. It's kind of funny. If any of you browse Tumblr, it is similar to a few of the things that the wilder side of Tumblr might find themselves recognized with. But you've also got, I don't know why it marks power armor over there, because I did not wear power armor here, and there's no power armor that can actually just be found at Far Harbor, but Far Harbor is the other one that's just populated with a bunch of humans who have to just survive where they are. And I'm really glad that they added the fast travel to the Commonwealth, so you don't have to ride on that stupid boat again. You can fast travel to the Commonwealth, and you'll end up in like the top corner of the map. And my guess is whenever you go back to the Commonwealth, which I have not done just yet, you can travel back right over to Far Harbor. And I guess I haven't made my way over there yet, but the NPC, well not the NPC, but the companion, who is provided by this DLC, apparently his house in the little area that it occupies is a settlement that you can build upon, which is nice. I haven't checked that out yet, but I guess I will because I haven't really looked through the map to see where it was. But yeah, each of these settlements have, each of the factions have their own list of quests that you can complete for them, and then there's just one overarching story that combines all three of them. And now I'm playing in very hard mode, which was the old survival mode. Just dumbed down a little bit. I think the biggest difference between it is the fact that you heal a lot faster in the very hard mode. The enemies are still just as hard as they were in the old survival mode, but you do heal faster because the really, really slow healing was transferred over into the actual survival mode, where you have to save at whatever bed comes across. And while I do think that's fun, actually completing the game through that is pretty grueling, and I don't think I'll ever actually complete the game through that. I do have a character that I made for it, and I tried to stream before, but it didn't actually get very far, because as soon as I died, I was set back like an hour, and I decided to end the stream there. I just don't deal particularly well with deaths like that, because whenever I'm set back that far, honestly, the time that I set aside to play video games is not... It doesn't just come by very easily. I marked that one so I can see where this is, because this is the one that I was doing. So she is there at the nucleus? Oh, okay. Never mind, I guess I'll put it on. But, anyways, the reason that I don't stream a whole lot, or stream very long when I play games for extended periods of time, it's just because I don't have the time to, I don't have the patience to. I have Bloodborne, which I'm going to finish eventually, but I haven't gotten very far in it, because the last time I played it, I died a lot in the same area, and rather than getting frustrated, I just kind of got bored, because I ended up having to do the same thing over again, and I didn't feel a lot of motivation to go through it, because I'm not entirely motivated to finish the game. I just played it because my friend begged me to play it, and while I do like it a lot,
this land truly was meant for us.
I honestly don't feel a whole lot of
Pardon me.
Glory to Adam, sister. You must be the one Richter sent out to the spring. Don't appear you turned into a slobbering goon. So I'm guessing you had a favorable experience. What visions did Holy Adam bless you with?
Slobbering goon. Do people have bad reactions to the spring?
Few make it through the ritual
I can imagine
intact.
that.
Sort of the point. A vision from Adam is a great honor, not something to be granted to the unworthy. So tell me, what did you see?
He came to me and told me the secret to overcoming all life's challenges. And for a mere 500 caps, that secret can be yours too.
I believe I'll pass. But nevertheless, should you need something from myself or the other zealots, you need only ask.
She's not the heretic, is she?
The Grand
Okay,
Zealot
yeah,
sent me.
that's who I'm looking for.
Tell me what you can about Sister Gwyneth.
Very well, as I'm sure the Grand Zealot informed you. Gwyneth was once a devoted member of our order, though prone to strange moods. She was well liked by many. The Grand Zealot in particular seemed to have a fondness for her, at least until she turned her back on Holy Adam. It was my duty to find her. But Gwyneth was always clever. I'm ashamed to admit that I failed.
I'll find Sister Gwyneth.
Then by Adam's grace, I hope that you will succeed where I did not. You should begin by searching the holy sites. Perhaps you'll find some clue I missed.
What a strange voice actor. She's very, stop and go about the lines. Yeah, that bothers me just a little bit. All the, muffled praying that you hear, because you hear it a lot. They'll all pray to themselves, and it just appears in your subtitles. And it appears very loud, even though they might not be right next to you.
And for each one, I bring a smile.
Anyways, also another thing that I really want, most of the members of the Children of Adam have face tattoos. I really want to get one of those because they look freaking cool. But I digress. So what was I saying?
Have you seen Adam's
before
veil?
I was talking to her. I forget. Maybe it'll
watch for
cross
fog
my mind a little bit later. So, Sister Gwyneth, she's at some of the holy sites. There's a couple of those, I guess. There's a holy site. Over there's a holy site. She's probably there because that's where I found that weird sign. Any other holy sites? I would imagine they're all around. Okay, so it's just these two areas. Let's fast travel. Oh, come on. This is a big enough area. This is like the home to the Children of Adam.
Oh.
The Children of Adam is really a neat religion. Oh, I think maybe I was talking about why I kind of respect the Children of Adam. In fact, out of all the factions here, this is the one I'd probably go for. There are two NPCs over in Far Harbor that kind of make me not want to join their forces, even though they're the humans and they're just kind of fighting to survive for their own little fishing life. That doesn't mean they have to kill everybody who comes their way. Really, it doesn't. Acadia, while they're trying to bring about peace, that's a little ambitious. And the Children of Adam, while they just kind of want to wipe out the whole thing, you know, they're neat. They're really neat in this. They're the only ones who have an elaborate thing going on for them. But I digress. Anyways, we're going back to Adam Spring. There shouldn't be any enemies there. Some of the enemy, actually, most of the enemies that you'll be encountering whenever you come to Far Harbor are very vicious. I'm at that level where they haven't quite bumped all the way up to being really difficult. I came here whenever I was level 15, which is probably about the minimum level that you can be after you finish the whole thing with Kellogg and searching his memories and everything. Because I believe after that point, after you find out about Virgil and the Glowing Sea, you are able to start the quest to find your way over to Far Harbor. And yeah, this is kind of what I was talking about, the slowing frames with all this fog. It's everywhere. The fog is everywhere. You can't avoid it. While it is kind of neat that you have this very non-hospitable environment. Oh, there's another sign from her. I'm going to take some of that away. Yeah, there's a lot of radiation here. There is a significant amount of radiation here. What's that? What does that even do? Okay. That's the other weird thing. There's trees here collecting sap, and you can just rip it out of the tree. And I do have a hazmat suit that I could be wearing, but anyways, let's make this quick.
scraps torn from some kind of sign or banner. It looks like some pieces are missing.
Okay, so yeah, I found a little area where wherever this heretic was, had been making these signs, so I'll know where that is whenever I need to go do that. There's a few holy sites for the children of Adam here. They really expanded on that as a religion, and I kind of wish that they had been a faction in the original game, and the original game of Fallout 4, at least. I didn't ever play Fallout 1 or 2, I've seen them played. Oh. Okay, yeah, that's where I was.
Wakatak Station? She must be staying at a campground. At least the directions are clear.
There. Okay. Well, this is one of those areas that I was talking about that I thought was just kind of randomly placed, but I mean, I figured it must have been placed there for a purpose because of all the things that I found there. It didn't seem like it was very random. It seemed like it was very connected to the story. There were a lot of wolves here. But she was in this house. So, what did she have here? And again, with those fusion cores as the basis for those candles, I get a little angry about that. Yeah, she was like cutting up magazines to make those signs. Sweet. I'm also utilizing, nope. I want the one to read. Investigate the campsite. Oh, I didn't even see this holotape here.
Done. The messages are posted. I know it could mean my life, but the children must know. I was paging through a pre-war tome when I saw it. The atom. A tiny speck of matter surrounded by endless depths. A vast emptiness that dwells within us all. It only reaffirmed what I'd felt all this time. The truth the Confessor wanted no one to hear. The lie that is Adam. It's not real. We aren't all infinite worlds. Just empty space. Dead. Cold. That we are nothing. Confessor won't be pleased by my messages. But I'm not afraid. I'm going to start moving things to the old church by the West Access Road in case they decide to join me. I just hope I'm not too late to save them from Adam's lies.
Yeah, that does sound like a bit of a heretic, I should say. Anyways, I did kill a lot of wolves here. Their corpses stuck around. They kind of ambushed me, but I know that church that she's talking about because I found it. So I'll go there and I'll probably end the stream. But yeah, if you were on the fence about buying Far Harbor, it is definitely worth getting. Maybe not now. Eventually, I guess they'll release a Game of the Year edition because there's no warrant for the fact that it's a Game of the Year or not. It definitely wasn't the Game of the Year that it came out. That was Witcher 3 or Bloodborne, because they both came out in 2015. But I mean, all those games are great. There were a lot of great games that came out that year.
The children of Adam have allowed themselves to be deceived, and I must... Stop! This is a sacred place! Why have you come here? Are you seeking the truth of nothing?
The truth of nothing? What does that mean?
If you are truly prepared to hear it, then I will tell you. The children of Adam have been deceived by Martin, by Tectus. It's a false gospel, all of it. What they don't want you to know is that Adam is but a tiny mote in the vastness of nothing. Nothing is the true nature of existence. I have seen it with my own eyes. A void so vast and empty, like a night sky without stars. I know it is difficult to accept, but you must. And so must the others. They deserve to know the truth.
Look, I know you think you're trying to save the children of Adam, but you could be wrong. It's not too late to turn back and atone for your actions.
I wish I could believe that.
If you stay here, you're as good as dead. You need to leave this island and never come back.
To abandon my task would be to defy the will of nothing. And that's something I will never do. I will spread the truth of nothing, and I will show the children of the false god the folly of their ways. Even if it costs me my life.
Now, what's this? Can't tell if this was storage or trash.
Well, okay.
Gwyneth.
I have nothing else to say to you.
Well, I've been tasked to kill you.
Child! I give my
Life! Nothing!
She doesn't really have a weapon, does she? Thanks, Nick. Well, here she goes. So she's praying at a regular church to, nothing. Which is kind of funny. But, yep, there goes Sister Gwyneth. I'm glad that you helped me out, Nick. I'm glad that you're just kind of passive about the whole thing. You can dislike things, but at least you like that I tried to save her. You know, that was really cool of you. But anyways, so thanks for tuning in, if you did. Far Harbor is a good DLC. I did like Automatron, but maybe it's not worth buying on its own if you didn't get the Season Pass. This one is really good. $25 I believe is a bit much to ask for. They do give you a lot, but I don't know how the market of video games is anymore. They might try to sell a version of the game that has all the DLC, which will cost the same price as the base game, I predict. And honestly, all the DLC is more expensive than that, but it'll be a while before it actually comes out. But Far Harbor is definitely a fantastic addition to the world of Fallout 4. I love Far Harbor. I've enjoyed every second I've played it, even more so than the original game, because some of it felt like very basic and repetitive, but Far Harbor really feels like how Fallout should have been. The island is beautiful. I like the ocean. I like the weapons. I like the people. I like the factions. I like the enemies. I like the enemies. And I kind of recommend that if you do have it and you haven't gotten to it yet, to maybe create a new character and start out coming here on a low level to give yourself another challenge, because I haven't been here on my high level character, which is probably around 62, which is the first time I actually played this game with. But coming here on a low level would serve you well to do the actual quest here, because it feels a lot more hostile and foreign that way. You really have to be careful with what you come across and how you play the missions and everything. But Far Harbor, I recommend it. I recommend it more than anything. I love the way that they try to make the branches blow in wind. Oh, Bethesda. Please don't ever change. Anyways, thanks for tuning in.